So after the message of the executive chairman of World Business Angel Investor Forum, it's a pleasure to continue with the World Business Angel Investor Week. And we are going to have our first panel. The global theme for this year is post-pandemic economies and transformation of post-pandemic economies. And the first panel is going to be talking about how COVID and the new world has been changed by in the ecosystem of entrepreneurship and startups. So it's a pleasure to call our moderator, Stéphane Ruiz, that is taking the lead of Rosa Siles, that for a personal problem could not come today, but we have an upgrade here with Stéphane, so it's a pleasure having him. We also have with us Joaquin Cuenca, the CEO and co-founder of Freepik, one of the most successful startups in the Malaga ecosystem. Also Rafael Ventura, which is the Vice Dean of the University of Malaga in charge of entrepreneurship and social innovation. Julien de Waal, who is the former director of DEMIUM Acceleration Malaga and also CEO of Doggies in Town, a very active ecosystem builder here in the Malaga ecosystem. And finally, Andreas Mihalovic, which is one of the most active angel investors, and not only in the Malaga and Costa del Sol ecosystem, but in Europe. And by the way, initially I wasn't expected to be here with us, but I just hijacked him and forced him to stay with us for this panel. So a pleasure. I left you to you have 40 minutes to discuss about we want to have the views of different roles in the ecosystem, how they see the new world and the post-COVID era, how it's transforming the entrepreneurship ecosystem and startups. So Stéphane, it's yours.
Thank you, Miguel Angel. As he told before, I am replacing Rosa Siles, General Manager of Andaulucía Emprende, and I will try to do my best to take her role as a moderator as best as I can. And I'm very honored to be in this panel talking about post-pandemic transformation of entrepreneurship and startup ecosystems. And we have, as already Miguel Angel told, different representatives from the university, from maybe one scale-up or even more, scale-up company, and also the vision from incubations from Julien, and of course Andreas from the vision as a business angel investor. So the first question about in the local ecosystems, we all know these persons in Malaga. They are very well known in the newspaper. But as this session will be broadcast in the World Business Angel Week session next week, we will be happy to know more about you. So in a few words, please talk about yourself a bit and about the organization you are working right now. So please, Joaquin.
So hi everyone, I'm Joaquin Cuenca. The first project that I created was when I was 28 years old. It was a small startup called Panoramio. It was geolocated photos that show up in Google Maps and in Google Earth. The product was acquired by Google that was in 2007, which is like the dark ages now. I spent like 3 years working at Google in Zurich. To me, it was kind of transformational because I learned how things work in a big company and what I liked and what I didn't like. After that, I decided to quit working at Google because I wanted to start again something small, so to say. I created a couple of projects here, and I organized a little conference called Barcamp, where I met local entrepreneurs. That was in 2010. That's when I met Bernardo Quintero, well known from Virus Total today. That's when I met Pepe and Luis from Up to Down. I met Manu and Alejandro, who were working on B-Soccer. All of them were very small projects at the time. I started working with Ale and Manu just because they happened to have the office next to my house. we started sharing office. I became a co-founder of BSoccer, which today is a company that employs more than 200 people, and it's like the 5th major news, like soccer news in Spanish-speaking languages. And I co-founded with Alejandro a new project called Freepik. We started as a search engine where people could search for free images. And after a few years, we changed our mission and we started creating ourselves images. We became the largest stock image website, free website in the world. We became a worldwide leader in illustrations. We became then worldwide leader in icons. We work with photos today, but we're not yet the worldwide leader in photos. We do slides where we are also again like #1 in the world. The company is close to 500 employees here in Malaga. We will talk about the change since the pandemic, and we have a chance to, to talk about how it impacts our organization. We have over 20 million images, and we'll just so you get an idea of the size. Like last year, our revenue was north of 60 million. Okay, so that's where we are today.
Thank you, thank you. Now, Rafael Ventura from the University of Malaga.
Thanks, Stéphane. Okay, well, I used to be Vice Chancellor for Social Innovation and Entrepreneurship at the University of Malaga. Speakers in the roundtable before told us about the critical role of the university currently in the entrepreneurial ecosystem, and it's true. The entrepreneurial ecosystem is very demanding for the university, so we are working on address the entrepreneurial university concept now. I think the main goal now is to create new entrepreneurial human capital to provide the entrepreneurial ecosystem. Of course, we foster students and academics to create new ventures, technology-based companies and startups. We try to accelerate projects, but I think we have to try to accelerate people as well. This is the main mission of the university in the sense. This is what to do in the entrepreneurial ecosystem as university, and how to do. The University of Malaga launched a project, DEMIUM, 6 years ago, and we ran a collaborative model because we thought in that moment that we had to work with the rest of the actors of the ecosystem to get the goals so demanding for the university. This is the main reason of link DEMIUM. This period, I think we have reached good results. We'll tell you about the consequences of the pandemic in the future. But well, during the pandemic, we got the certificate of the accreditation of Entrepreneurial University, the first one in Spain. Now, Carlos III has got this accreditation as well. The main reason is the execution of a collaborative model with the entrepreneurial ecosystem. Just an example, because I know that the next speaker knew now very well DEMIUM. When I was talking about accelerating people now at the city, two students that launch startups in DEMIUM, they are heading now DEMIUM at the city. Very successful, the running of DEMIUM here at the university. So this is a small example what we have to do as a university in the entrepreneurial ecosystem.
Thank you, Rafael. So now, Julien, please, your vision as an entrepreneur and also startup advisor, and also your strong experience in incubation.
Yeah, so hello everyone. So my name is Julien. On a personal note, I'm half French, half Dutch. I live in Malaga now for 2.5 years. I love this city because it's really buzzing. It's a beautiful city, and the startup ecosystem is really becoming thriving. It's really exciting. In the last 10 years, I've built different startups on different continents. Some were failures, some were successful. but from that you learn. And with this experience, I've helped over 100 entrepreneurs and over 52 startups in building their startups, scaling their startups, whilst being part of DEMIUM, the DEMIUM Accelerator. And since then, now what I do is I'm now COO of Doggies in Town, which is a startup that is focused on helping dog owners discover dog-friendly places, book from dog-friendly places, and buy from them. And we're helping digitalize a lot of businesses, hotels, restaurants, stores. We're really helping them out in digitalizing their business so that they can find new clients. And that's it. That's it about me.
Thank you, Julien. And last but not least, Andreas, co-founder of Global Super Angel Clubs and active business angel. And I have to say thank you also for participating in the forums we organize. It's very, I'm very thankful for that. So please.
Hello together. My name is Andreas Mihalowicz. I'm a German angel investor living in Marbella since nearly 10 years. Before that time, I've been also an entrepreneur. I've built up a nice company in Germany starting in 1999, quite a long time ago. First we started with a news website, maybe similar to Reddit. Maybe you know Reddit, this concept. We've been quite successful. We've been one of the top 5 news websites in Germany. But then 2001, we had this big internet crisis. Everything has burned down. All our revenues went down to by more than 89%. And then we had to change our business model quickly, and we then focused on creating B2C subscription services. So we have invented products where we could charge 5 to 10 euros per month from our end customers. One of the products has been named Save TV, where we have granted access to the German television via the internet. In 2006, it was quite innovative to give people access to the German television, more than 50 TV channels, and you could record and download and stream this content from anywhere in the world. But in 2012, we had also more than 200 employees. I wanted to do something new because the type of work has changed as a founder. You know, you have then more and more to manage people, and you are not working with the products very closely to the product anymore. So we decided as founders to find a management team to take over the business. And nearly 10 years ago, I just made vacation here in Marbella and fell in love with this area and decided to come here with my family. And then I started to reinvest the dividends because we have been profitable since 2003 more or less. I saved some money, and I then started to reinvest this money in startups since 2012 to 2013. So meanwhile, I have invested in nearly 160 startups so far. 60% of these startups are from Spain, and the rest mainly from Europe and also North America. I also have created a club named the Global Super Angels Club, where I try to find also very active angel investors who are willing to co-invest with me. And we have more than 70 super angels who are investing at least 6-figure ticket sizes in startups in this club.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for this introduction. So now we are going to tackle the topic of this session. It's how, from your point of views, we have changed our organizations in the framework of this very sad and crisis of the COVID, and now different situation due to the Ukraine. And also, I would like to thank Miguel from this very interesting intervention. We have 18 startups in the pavilion of Ukraine. So Miguel Martin also was fostering this project. We are very thankful always for this energy organizing things. And concretely, the question now is about from your side, from how you have adapted yourself, your organization, to this new situation of post-pandemic, how you have suffered from the point of view of the university, of a company, of a startup, of a business angel, how you have reinvented yourself during the last 2 years. Joaquin?
Okay, so I will take it first. In our case, when the pandemic hit, of course, like everyone, we went offline. We went online, actually. Like the first change is that everybody became overloaded. And honestly, I didn't thought it was going to be a problem to work online. I was very optimistic on that because on my early years of my career, I started working online, fully online, on multiple open source projects, and I knew that this kind of work, it works well. It can be managed. My fear was always on a blended environment, where you have a meeting where you have like four or five people in the room, and then you have two more online. What happens then is that people in the room start to chit chat among them, and they are like not speaking to the mic. So they kind of, forget about those who are online, or they get into the meeting and they forget to turn on the TV or things like that. So a blend meeting, it's more difficult to, to make it work than a fully remote meeting. So in our experience, we went all remote, and we started hiring people that were not working in Malaga because we knew that we were going to work remote for a while. We went from around 150 employees in 2 years up to 450, 500. So we multiplied by 3 the headcount. And now we have around 70 people that are working outside of Malaga. Now the change in the employees, and I think that's general, is that they became less tied to the company by default. Okay, you get many people that, if they get like a slightly better offer elsewhere, they will just flip. This didn't happen before because in a company you do more than work for a reward. You get friends, you establish relationships. There is more to that than just the day-to-day work. This disappeared, so people became way more flexible in changing jobs. So some people just flipped to another company. We got people from other companies, but when we got the chance, we tried to reincorporate some on-site, some on-site work. So right now we are asking people who live in Malaga to please come a couple of days to the office per week, and it's a pretty please. Like if they don't want, it's okay. But we try to get everybody together at least a couple of days per week. And the rest of the time, we're working remote. That's how we are dealing with it right now. And again, the thing that is not working today is like blended meetings. When almost everybody is, is working on the same room, and then you have 1 or 2 people that are working remote, that's not yet working.
So you haven't found a solution for that, no?
No, it's
not yet.
It's clunky. Doesn't work yet.
Thank you. In your case?
Well, from the university, the main reading I do, because the pandemic, is that we have experimented many changes, but not major changes. I think this is the same reading about the entrepreneurial ecosystem. Many changes have happened, but not major changes after a disruptive situation, 2 years in a disruptive situation. It's very different how you face the pandemic and how you change with the pandemic. The pandemic has meant emergency situation during the 1 year. So in this case, I think the university faced the pandemic with a high performance because we were very active, focused on the resilience of the university, but the resilience of the health system, of the needing in the society. Our researchers developing new researches to help to support the situation, and the university as well, the resilience of the education, the normal activity of the university. So in this sense, I think that the result was good in a very stressful situation, but maybe the result has not been so good if you analyze how we can change in the second meaning of the pandemic, a disruptive situation when everything changed. And I think we have failed in this sense. There are no major changes at the university after the pandemic. Of course, we have not take the most of the pandemic for changing the culture or in the international sense. I think that the university that have taken the most of the pandemic have been those that they had a big community and a big branding. Of course, now to be a fellow of Berkeley, you have to pay the double because they have grown a lot. I think the online university have been maybe the losers because we have tried everyone mandatory how is the digital university, and it's very difficult engagement through the digital platform to the digital ecosystem. It's very difficult to work the innovation and the entrepreneurial training in this kind of platform. So this is my experience. In this sense, if you make a reading about the situation we live, not just to do with the university, the current situation is energy dependence, prices are rising, the public spending focus on consumption, no many changes provoked by big startup linked with the new situation. I think this is my reading, at least.
Thank you for your views. It's true that the university has strong inertia, and it's difficult to change this inertia through crisis, no?
Yeah, but the reading is the same. If I had to make the reading for the entrepreneurial ecosystem, if you check the list of the best startup in 2020 and 2021, you cannot make a reading about the pandemic. There have not been real changes provoked by the entrepreneurial ecosystem linked to a so disrupting situation. But I think entrepreneurs love the change, the disruptive, and bigger than this one, you cannot imagine. So I think the innovative system, maybe we are dependent on energy and many things, so.
Okay, thank you. So Julien, from your point of view of entrepreneur and also startup advisor?
So there are two things. I'll start with, for example, our startup, Doggies in Town. There were three things that sort of hit us during the COVID, and that was number one, a lot of the clients of Doggies in Town is hotels, restaurants, stores, and they all shut down or they closed or temporarily during COVID. So we had to find solutions very quickly to help them out. And one of the things that we realized during COVID is there's a lot of hotels and restaurants and they're not digitalized. So they don't know which tools to use for sales, for marketing. If you call up a restaurant today, they probably don't know which tools they're using. And they usually tell us it's quite complex and we're using so many tools. So one of the things we did is with Doggies in Town, we gave them a tool which is super simple to use, right? And then to attract new clients, which were our dog owners who use the app. The second thing is during COVID is angel investors. Sorry, but angel investors COVID impacted the reach of angel investors. It was quite difficult because when you're a startup in Spain for Doggies in Town, it's in the pet industry, and the pet industry is not necessarily very well known in Spain, whereas the gaming or other industries are very well known. So we realized that during COVID, that firstly it was difficult to attract Spanish investors and the ones that knew the pet industry. So that's why the investors that we found were outside of Spain. So we had to reach out. And that leads to the third point. COVID hit bureaucracy. The Spanish bureaucracy delayed a lot of the processes in getting investment. And a lot of people don't know this, but you usually need a NIE number for an external investor to invest in your startup. And that was because of COVID, that delayed a lot of our processes with investors. So that's with Doggies in Town. And then when you look at the accelerators, so when I was working at DEMIUM, managing the program, because what we did is we would help entrepreneurs go from ideation to validation, validating an idea, then building an MVP, and then after that it was go to market and then secure investors. That was sort of the steps that we would follow. And you would usually do it face to face in the office using different whiteboards, different tools. And here, during COVID, everything went online. So here you are, and you have to manage all these different types of tools for ideation, for validation, for all these different steps. And that became quite complex to manage and to find the right tools. So even accelerators were trying to find ways to digitalize themselves. And I think what also happened, and luckily, is a lot of governments started helping from EU level to national level to regional and to local level. A lot of aid started coming in to help out the accelerators so that the accelerators could help out the entrepreneurs as well. And COVID as well has changed and pivoted accelerators in many different ways. So not only just is everything remote, even just not just tools, but finding investors, talking to investors used to be one-on-one. Now you can quickly, via a Calendly, meet up with investors, and it saves a lot of time. So COVID has, Johan Cruyff, the footballer, said, with every disadvantage is an advantage. So with every challenge, there's an opportunity. And this is exactly what happened here. We found opportunities where we could go faster, removing demo days or simplifying the process between meeting people together. And even business models have been adjusted. So for example, before the business model usually of a startup accelerator or incubator was, we'll help you build the startup, we'll give you perks and all the necessities, and in return we take equity. And since COVID, it has evolved, not all of them, but a lot of them have evolved into, okay, how about you pay up front first, and then we'll help you. There are other ones which say, look, we'll help you, and then you pay at the end if we find you investors. So there's been an evolution in the business models of startup accelerators. So COVID has been impacting, but also a great opportunity to evolve and pivot. So,
yes, thank you. Well, your change on DEMIUM has been interesting, and but there is no many other example of like DEMIUM, at least in Andaulucía and Malaga, who has changed his model of investing with a convertible note and then this 100K on pre-seed. You are unique, at least in Andaulucía. So and he has created many startups in the last months, and some of them were pitching just an hour before. So yes, we hope that this model is really replicated in our region with different ways. Okay, thank you very much, Julien. And now, Andreas, from your case as a business investor, as a business angel, how this pandemic has changed your way of working, and now how do you see the situation?
Yeah, so from my perspective as an angel investor, it was quite different. So I also have quite a lot of startups now, many sectors. And of course, the hospitality sector and travel sector had big problems. But nevertheless, I had a couple of losses in my portfolio also from other sectors, mainly because they have not been prepared. The liquidity state was not so good for them. So in March 2020, they have just started looking for investors and prepared the next round for the next 3-4 months. And at that time, it was really impossible to find investors. So regardless of the sector, some of the startups have failed or have gone into bankruptcy because they couldn't find investors. But then, after a couple of months, I think it was much easier to find investors again. But some of the startups just had bad luck to be exactly at that time, to look for investors at that time and not to have any liquidity left. a couple of them I could help, of course. There are sometimes internal investors, they are ready to help in difficult times. And there also was some aid. For instance, in Germany, we had a big fund, 2 billion fund. In Berlin, for instance, I have invested in 5 startups there and this fund was able to quadruple the investments of angel investors. So if you have invested 100K, you have got 400K from the government. So up to I think 300K you could invest and get 4 times more from the government. That was quite nice. So I made use of that. And as an angel investor, you get even a carry fee. So if there's an exit later on, you get a carry fee on the amount that you get from the government. So that was a quite good help for the startups. Unfortunately, in Spain, there was nothing similar as far as I know. So yeah, but nevertheless, I think there have been many cases where the internal investors try to help the startups to cover the next couple of months to survive. And some startups had to change their business model. So there was one startup, for instance, Nannyfy. They are as a marketplace for nannies to help families to find the right nanny. And of course, during that times, COVID times, nobody was interested to have somebody coming to your home. And so they have fully digitalized their models and have offered online education for small children. In a couple of weeks, they have changed their business model. So some of the startups who have changed the business model could also survive. And of course, other startups, quite a lot of in my portfolio, they have been growing much more than before because people have been at home, they had more time, they have been playing games. So many game companies have grown quite a lot. Also food delivery companies and e-commerce companies have been growing quite a lot, more than ever during these times. And now it's a different now. The last couple of months, also the travel sector is growing a lot. Of course, people have not been able to go to vacation, and now they are going to vacation like never before. So now this year is crazy in the travel sector. Everything is booked out. You don't get any cars for rental. So the prices are going up. So it's a great business now in the travel sector. So if they have survived these tough times, they can now make a lot of business.
Yes, it's true that my wife works as a travel agent, and that is crazy. And also prices has increased 40% in many hotels. It's crazy. For this summer, nobody wants to stay at home. For us, we are lucky because we live in the coast, but I imagine if you live in Madrid, so you want to go to the coast, yeah. So now, thank you. I have a question directly with a recommendation, because I think you have been requested or asked many times, Joaquin, so about successful entrepreneurs. Why do you spend time in investing in your local ecosystem to spend time in helping other entrepreneurs? And I know your answer because you want to focus on Freepik. I think is the answer. But what about how we can create this having more business angel in Malaga and in Andaulucía, with your experience already Syrian business angel and someone like you, Joaquin, who has been working, who has several exits. So how we can give some recommendations to our people who are here so that we can create more business angels. Because at the end, I always ask you to come to and I don't have a great big list of business angels to invite in. Okay, there's the Andalucía Association of Business Angels with Marisa Garcia. They have 30 business angels in the association. So how you can recommend us to foster this?
Okay, so you want my take on it. First of all, I did some investing in some companies, and some of them pretty successful. But it's true that I'm mainly devoted to my work at Freepik. Again, I'm not like doing as a professional investing. I think that this is gonna happen naturally when people make exits from tech companies. Like, think about it. Like, people that made money on like making buildings, right, on real estate, they naturally reinvested where? In real estate, right? Because that's the thing that they know. It's pretty natural. And I think that it's equally natural that people that made an exit on tech companies, they have a tendency to reinvest in tech companies, which is what they understand. So I think that step number one is, to get some successful exits in the region, and I think that then we will get naturally people that reinvest in the region in tech companies. I think also that something that is hurting us in Spain is that here it is not easy to give employees stock options. So we need to start giving like phantom options, phantom shares, which are like not ideal, not completely ideal. There is no simple mechanism to reward employees with with a big chunk of money when there is an exit. And this happened because in Spain, when people started using stock options back in the day in Tela, you got many people from Telefónica who became millionaires overnight. And then there was a big uproar, like, wow, those people work in this semi-public company and they became millionaires. We have to do something about it. So we completely screw up stock options for everyone. So no one becomes a millionaire ever. And here we are, right? Like, you don't get millionaires that reinvest what they got into the sector. So I think that step number one is to make this again a viable instrument to give employees a reward for working on a high-risk startup. Okay? And I think this is going to happen. Like today in Freepik, we have some people that are already like well rewarded. Let's say that. I hope that we will be able to create kind of a Freepik mafia, like in PayPal, right? Where people make money in tech and they reinvest in tech. Many of our friends in Barcamp that we met in the Barcamp, we are starting to invest. So I think it's going to come naturally. Okay, here in Andalucía, I think it is easy to get seed capital. It is kind of easy to make a seed round because you go to Madrid or elsewhere and you get it done. But to make an A round, it's kind of difficult still because you are not big enough to go remote, to go to another place, to go to people that don't know you, that you are not local to them, and at the same time, it's too big for the region. So I think there is a gap there in the middle today.
You said it's easy for seed. Pre-seed, I think pre-seed is not so easy. I think because it's too risky for investors. So it's always the question: how do you already metrics? How do you already sales? So it's yeah.
No, like raising like a few hundred Ks, I think it should be doable. I don't know. I mean, I'm not that close, but I think it should be doable.
And your point of view, how do you think we can create more Andreas in Andalucía?
So I think we have many Andreas here, especially in Marbella. I think it's a special place. It's a nice mixture, I think, Malaga area, because Malaga is very strong with a lot of entrepreneurs. And we have this Marbella area with a lot of high net worth individuals living there. So I think many 10,000 millionaires and billionaires are living there. And we have to teach them also to invest into tech. That's why I'm also involved in a project named The Pool, Marbella, where we try to convert a Corte Inglés building into a tech hub and invite many digital nomads who are also living in this area to come to this place to work together and also have many events with successful entrepreneurs coming to our place with also this kind of panels, and also attracts many investors and startup entrepreneurs with pitching events all in this place. I think it's important to have a physical place in the near of these investors who are living there already. They are not so keen on coming to Malaga, unfortunately, at the moment. But as soon as they learn how to invest in startups, I think they will also come to this kind of events. But we have to do something there first, the first step. And then I think we have a great potential there already now to have more investors. Because we have a lot of really successful people who have built great businesses internationally, who are living in there half of the year at least. and you just have to show them the potential of Malaga area to invest also locally here. They are mainly investing in other countries most of the time, but they have to invest also locally. That's important.
Yeah, thank you. So I've participated in some Marbella Tech events with Martin, and yes, they're really amazing and funny events. So I strongly recommend all the people to participate in the pool sessions. And well, so we have just 2 minutes to finish. So I would like to say many thanks to the panelists of today. We hope that these learnings could be shared among the people today here, and also from the website of the Waal Business Angel Forum's website. And thank you all of you, and see you next time. So bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.